News never stops, neither does Sky News.
Welcome back. Atlas Pearls and Perfumes Limited is an ASX-listed company, and we're going to find out the story behind this little-known operation. And the storyteller will be director Dr. Joseph Taylor. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
So, we were talking before the show, and I've got to say I'm quite surprised at the extent of the pearl industry. So tell us the potted history of your company.
Okay, well, we started in about 1992-93 with a pilot project. That was in the western part of the Timor Island in Indonesia. In '94, Atlas took a big interest, 75% of that pilot project, and then later took 100% of the project.
And what was Atlas?
Atlas was originally a shelf company, really. It was a company that owned a mining tenement in Kalimantan.
Yeah.
And
nothing related to Atlas Iron whatsoever?
No, nothing.
Okay.
And so Atlas was used as a vehicle in this pearling project into the Australian arena in terms of a public company.
Yep.
And floated in about 1995. I joined in '96. As I said, it was still a pilot project at that stage, and it was time to really try and commercialise that. And one of the first things we did was move a lot of the base of the operation into West Papua, old Irian Jaya.
Yeah.
And we were so fortunate, we found an island up there that was a paradise. It was a paradise in its own right and a paradise for pearling. In a very short space of time, we went from 96, about 7,000 pearls harvest, to 99, about 50,000, and our current operation is 300,000 with 5 farms spread across Indonesia.
So these are 300,000 pearls. What kind of revenue does it deliver to a firm like yours?
Well, the revenue line for this year is looking at about 17 million at the close of books in June. That's our expectation.
Yeah.
The majority of that, a good 85% of that, is straight pearl sales. The company does have a small retail business that's starting to grow.
Yeah.
It does do some jewellery.
Does it operate under Atlas? Its retail outlet?
It does at the moment, yes. Yes, it does.
Right.
That retail is largely based in Bali in the tourism sector, but we do have a store in Perth as well. About a year ago, we bought a company called Essential Oils of Tasmania, which is where the perfume story comes into it. So this was a company that has a lot of similarities to Atlas, great IP, a long history of good science and genetic work, and who are growing sustainable crops, a lot of which are Australian natives. Traditionally, they were growing it for the food industry as a flavouring. Steve Birkbeck, who's our CEO, comes from a very interesting background. He was a pioneer of getting sandalwood into the French perfume houses, and he saw a great opportunity there and a lot of synergy. So he took this company on and took the current business, and now we're converting some of that business into creating fragrances as well, and also taking the byproduct from the pearling industry. And about 90% of the product is actually a byproduct by weight. So the pearl is only 5 or 10% of the overall weight of the oyster.
Yeah.
But we're finding that we can draw that across into some of these ingredients for the flavour and especially for the fragrance.
So you're saying that the shell which the pearl comes in actually has recyclable value in other parts of your business?
Oh, hugely.
Yeah.
And of course, this is nothing new. There is a well over 1,000-year history of using pearl as a powdered form for medicinal purposes, for cosmetic purposes. So we're trying to put new science behind that and go into a different market.
Okay. What's the demand market for pearls?
For pearls, the position where we're at right now is very interesting. We're actually on the right side of supply and demand. As a result of the global financial crisis, pearl prices were hammered. And a lot of players have gone out of the industry. What's happened is all of the stock has washed through now, and there's huge demand. We can't actually keep up with the demand for our own pearls right now. So, and the other thing to mention is that if you looked at all the pearls in the world, South Sea pearls, which is what we produce, what they produce in Broome, is about 5, maybe 8% of the total weight, but it's 30% of the value.
Okay, so are pearls in big demand from Asian countries? We presume this is clearly a great growth area. like they like gold, are they also into pearls?
Oh, absolutely, and particularly China right now. China has only really discovered the South Sea pearl in the last few years. They have a big history of producing freshwater pearls, which are relatively inexpensive items. And like so many other things in China, they've discovered this luxury good of the South Sea pearl. So there's a lot of demand there. America's been traditionally a high demand country for this pearl, Europe of course, and there's a growing market in Southeast Asia, Jakarta, into Kuala Lumpur and other nations, Singapore.
And that's the blue sky. What are the challenges for the company?
Well, the challenges are those of farming generally. We are dealing with a natural cycle, so we have to have good science, good husbandry to keep up with that. There are the challenges of dealing and working in another culture, and we put a lot of effort into our cultural integrity. And then there's the challenge of actually turning all of this great opportunity into the cash at the end of the day.
So what about the actual demand for pearls within Australia? We talked about Asia. Are Australians, big on pearls?
Well, it's certainly a growing market. Our domestic sales for pearls have grown something in the order of 200% in the last couple of years. Perth is a very strong market because it has a great link with Broome, of course, and more you're seeing pearls in everyday fashion. If you were to open any magazine from Women's Weekly through to Marie Claire, you will find South Sea pearls in the pages. So I think it's becoming a product that is more on. Because the other thing about it is you're now dealing with a society that has a greater want and need to know that what they're wearing or what they're using in luxury actually has some meaning and sustainability, and the pearl does that.
Do you have a designated marketing strategy, apart from coming on a show like this? Clearly it's a step in the right direction. But given what you're saying, that particularly younger women, they are more deeply entrenched in fashion. They are prepared to pay money, unlike probably their mothers and their grandmothers, for quality things. Are we expected to see a significant marketing program from you guys?
Oh, absolutely. That's something that's being worked on right now as we speak. In the last couple of months, there's been some new people come into the company with a specific brief of looking into the brand and developing the story. The great thing about
Tess Parlow has obviously done that.
Absolutely,
Without
absolutely.
doubt.
Now, the difference there in stories, I suppose, is a couple of things. So Broome is all about the men, the sea. Now, that's not Atlas. Atlas is this company that farms in a foreign nation. Most of the people who do the technical work in our company are women. So this is a product being produced by women, being sold by women, for women.
Yeah, it's a good story.
And that's the story we want to really start pushing forward, because it's the truth, it's the authentic story.
Okay, great stuff. Well, we look forward to watching your progress. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Yeah, thanks, Peter.
Cheers. Let's now get